Welcome to Xhibition, an Xbox podcast, episode number 66. On today's show, we are talking all about the Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family plan, which is newly leaked. It hit the internet this week, and it looks like the finalized version of what Xbox is going to be calling their version of a shareable family plan. On top of that, we are talking about the PlayStation 5 price increase and how Xbox has responded. We are also going to be covering some big Gamescom games that I did want to call out that certainly stood out for me during the show. And of course, if you're a Halo fan, I've got some good news for you, specifically coming to the Master Chief Collection. Lots more to dig into today, a fantastic show ahead, so grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy. Let's go ahead and dive into it. The Xbox Game Pass lineup is continuing to grow with some newly leaked branding for Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family. This is the official name of the shareable service that could be coming soon to Xbox. Now again, I want to reiterate this is leaked information, subject to change, but I will say it looks pretty legit, and we'll talk more about the branding in a moment. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, more than likely this is going to align with the shareable subscription test that Microsoft has been running in several locations around the world, where for roughly about €22, you can say generally about $25 if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, you are able to share Xbox Game Pass Ultimate benefits with up to 4 other people. So 4 people shared between one subscription are going to get access to everything Game Pass Ultimate has to offer for, again, roughly about $25 per month. This complements Xbox Game Pass Ultimate itself, which is $15 per month, and it gets you access to Game Pass for PC, Game Pass for console, Xbox Live Gold, and Xbox Cloud Gaming, as well as the benefit of EA Play getting added to your game library. Of course, you also have the benefit of Xbox Game Pass proper, which is the standard console subscription, and you also have PC Game Pass, which is designed specifically for the PC ecosystem. So with that setup, supposedly, soon there will be 4 different tiers for you to choose from, and I think this family plan is a fantastic addition, not only because it gives you access to that shareable experience, but because it is incorporating friends and family. Microsoft is very well aware of what this is going to be used for, and quite frankly, I think they are fine with the way that it's going to be used. And what I mean by this is that I feel like this subscription service at $25 per month is going to be ideal for a college dorm. 4 different gamers, all in the dorm. Let's say they all have an Xbox or a PC. Everybody pitches in a couple of bucks per month, Venmo one dude, and then you just split up the subscription. And the key benefit here is that you have individual memberships that are linked to this account. So cloud game saves are still exclusive to that specific account. I know that in my past experience, my girlfriend will be playing on her various saves of Hades, for instance, and then I'll log on, cloud saving syncs, all of a sudden my stuff's jacked up, and it becomes a bit of a pain. There are issues with that exist with the current setup for Xbox Game Pass. This new system in the Friends and Family plan individualizes the experience to where those cloud saves stay for that person exclusively. Additionally, the algorithm, when it recommends you games that you might enjoy on Game Pass, will not be touched. This is a personalized experience for you. This gives you all of the benefits of an individual Xbox Game Pass Ultimate plan without the need to have an individual account with an individual subscription. There's a lot of money saved here and a lot of headaches. I'm all for this move through and through. What I also think this does is it provides an opportunity for an Xbox household to crop up. And so what I mean by that is that if you have, let's say, a Series X in the living room, a Series S in the guest bedroom, a 2022 Samsung TV in the kitchen, and then somebody playing on an iPhone with a Razer Kishi handheld controller, each of those four experiences, each of those 4 gaming platforms, if you will be able to have access to the Xbox Game Pass family plan. And if somebody is playing in each of those rooms exclusively, they log in with their account, they've got access to everything they need without having to touch anyone else as part of this single subscription service. Your entire house has access to Game Pass no matter how you need it to have access, and you are good to go. The key here is that you don't have to go with the friends and family plan. Totally optional. This does not change what is offered through console, through PC, through Ultimate. Nothing is changing. This is just an additional option. And as more experiences are opened up, and as you are able to play in more locations, more devices, have more experiences based on more games getting added to the service, this is where you'll start to see additional value come through, especially with PC Game Pass, where more and more PC gamers are getting access to stuff from Riot Games. You will be able to have unlimited access without the need for that $15 per month individual subscription. So personally, I love the friends and family approach because it shows Microsoft is very well aware of how this will be used and the value is there. So let me know down below, what do you think about this supposed branding? Do you think it's good? Do you think this is the right move? And will you subscribe? I would love to hear your thoughts. The PlayStation 5 is getting a little bit more expensive. This news came via the PlayStation blog earlier this week, where it was announced that the PS5 is going to be boosting its price by about $50 anywhere outside of the United States. So if you are in the US, no price change is coming right now, but if you are in Canada or anywhere else in the world, it's going to be about $50 higher or the local equivalent conversion. This, of course, was received incredibly well by the gaming community. They totally understood the inflation and cost of global economic conditions and how they were going to have to take on. Just kidding. They all hated it, and people were very angry. The comment section was riddled with criticism, and to be fair, I also criticized Sony. This is not the right move to be pro-consumer. You should eat this cost right now. You should get these consoles in the hands of players and increase the value of your company by increasing the quality of the products you're putting out, by getting more people to buy a PlayStation 5 and then getting more games in their hands. Sell these consoles at a loss. Now, from what I read, the PlayStation 5 disc model has always sold at a loss, but the digital edition has not. That one has actually been sold at a profit, a small profit, but a profit nonetheless. So it's a weird situation right now with Sony, but the optics on this price increase are not positive whatsoever. It's never going to be a positive reception when you are boosting the price of a good that's already been priced at $500 over the course of the past 2 years. That being said, I understand why Sony is wanting to do this, because you want to keep those profit margins where they are. You want to continue generating revenue, and you want to continue keeping the money machine running. I get it from an economic business perspective, but when it comes to what needs to be done for consumers, when it comes to what needs to be done to win over fanfare, this is not the right move to make, in my humble opinion. Now, GameSpot has reached out to Xbox, and Xbox did confirm that no price increases are planned currently for the Xbox Series X or the Series S. They said, "We are constantly evaluating our business to offer our fans great gaming options," and they said the MSRPs for both of these systems are right where they need to be. No price increases coming. Nintendo also confirmed the exact same thing, so Sony is alone in this price increase. Of course, fans began to react. Fans began to compare, saying the Xbox Series X is $499, the PlayStation 5 is $550. As it stands right now, for 2022, Xbox doesn't really have any big exclusives that are coming out aside from like Scorn and some stuff like that, but nothing that's truly exclusive because a lot of this is also on PC. When it comes to the PlayStation 5 side of things, God of War Ragnarok is pretty much the exclusive experience that's coming this year. Nintendo is bringing a lot to the table for exclusives, but not very often will you see the hardcore players on the Xbox or the PlayStation kind of cross over with some of the Nintendo content. They're kind of in their own little realm over there, which is perfectly fine by me. But a lot of people, including myself, look to the Xbox Series S as the example of a saving grace for this generation, because while the save capacity on the Xbox Series S is a little bit low, you're looking at a very limited amount of space on that, 500 gigs if I remember correctly. In fact, even less than that when you take into consideration the size of the operating system itself. But at $299, you have a next generation experience that's fine for 1080p, 1440p gaming, whatever you might have. It gives you those next generation benefits, next gen performance at a very reasonable cost that is incredibly affordable and available. And those are two key aspects for the PlayStation 5, affordability and availability, that have not really met the expectations of players this generation. And so Microsoft made a great move with the Series S, is really what it comes down to. While the PS5 is hiking its price, the Xbox Series S is readily available as a next generation console, there and waiting for you. So looking to the holiday season, that's where this is going to get interesting, because then you have parents comparing Xbox Series S, Series X, and PlayStation 5. Series S is going to be readily available. Series X and PlayStation 5 very well could be available in abundance this holiday season, but at those prices. Which one is going to be the go-to option? Which one will people gravitate towards? And with Game Pass into the mix, and that being pitched as a value proposition, I mean, for me, the value seems clear. The options seem clear. The choice seems clear. I don't own a PlayStation 5. I'll probably buy one in the future whenever the games have come out and have dropped down in price. I can kind of go back and revisit this generation of gaming experiences. But for discovering new games, for playing AAA games, and eventually, after this Activision acquisition closes next year, a wide variety of Call of Duty games, a lot of PC experiences, the Xbox ecosystem is just where it's at. And so with this price increase, that just makes that choice even easier. Gamescom 2022 happened last week, and while there wasn't any monumental groundbreaking news, we did get some pretty awesome looks at upcoming games and experiences coming soon to a console near you, and I picked up my top 4 games of the show. So I thought that I would run through them very quickly. The Lords of the Fallen. Now this is a follow-up to 2014's Lords of the Fallen, which was kind of a Souls-like experience, not super well received, and more than likely, if you're like me, this is a game you picked up on clearance, or I believe it was given away as an Xbox Live Games with Gold game as well. But this is something that shows how you can totally reimagine an IP and regenerate some excitement around it. To be clear, Lords of the Fallen wasn't a bad game, but it just didn't hit the mark that people really wanted. It didn't have that vibe that I think matched what people had wanted the game to be. And so now with the Lords of the Fallen, I'm feeling a little bit of Elden Ring in there, definitely getting a bit of Dark Souls, kind of a mix of all of these things together, maybe a little bit more colorful, perhaps, something along those lines. So I'm excited to see that one, not something that I did expect to see. Now I also saw Scars Above. The way that I described this one in a YouTube short is that Scars Above looks like the combat of Death Stranding baked into one strange game. It's kind of like this alien spaceship visits Earth. You end up inside the spaceship, from what I am understanding from the trailer, and this world awaits you to explore, to navigate, to figure out what's going on. The combat looks good. I'm a big fan of third-person shooters, so I'm hoping for some cover-based action here, similar to Gears of War. That's kind of what I would want to see from this specific game. But Scars Above is, again, one of those experiences that I had not had on my radar. In fact, I'm not even sure it had been announced previously. If you know, let me know down below. But Scars Above looks like it's going to be right up my alley, and it scratches that itch because I was a huge fan of the combat of Death Stranding, so I'm hoping for a little bit of that weirdness, perhaps a little bit of a grounded fiction in the same way that we had with Control. I think that would be great, some sci-fi kind of fiction. I guess sci-fi fiction is kind of a oxymoron. Is that the right word? Who knows? But either way, Scars Above looks very, very good. Another one that caught my eye, Sonic Frontiers. I did not expect this to tickle my fancy as much as it did, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit of Breath of the Wild, a little bit of 3D classic Sonic, and you mix those two elements together, and maybe some Shadow of the Colossus? I don't know. Just going off of the trailer, this could be so many different things. But this one is generating a ton of excitement, and on top of that, I also noticed that on the Nintendo Switch side of things, this game is going to be roughly double the size in terms of file size of previous Sonic games. So there's going to be a lot more to explore. Very well could debut, very well could flop. Nonetheless, excited to see how this one turns out because I have never really been into Sonic, but this one looks like one that could catch my eye. And of course, my final for my top 4 games is the Callisto Protocol. If you've been following this channel for a while, you've been checking out my videos, you'll know I am very excited about the Callisto Protocol, and it looks like it's going to be one of the best games of the year. As it stands right now, August 28th, they're still on that December 2nd, 2022 release date. Unfortunately, I would bet this one gets delayed. I'm throwing it out there. I'm not trying to be negative, but I think the Callisto Protocol gets delayed to 2023. However, we saw some really good looking gameplay, a couple of glitches here and there, but nothing to be concerned about. As far as alpha gameplay goes, beta gameplay goes, looks like it's coming along quite well. But if you're a fan of Dead Space, the Callisto Protocol is exactly that experience cranked up to 11, limbs flying everywhere, gore out of every orifice. It just looks very, very good. And of course, it's coming from Glenn Schofield, who helped create the original Dead Space. So that's kind of the vibe you're going to be getting from that one. Nonetheless, Gamescom as a whole, very good show this year. Again, did it blow me out of the water? No, not necessarily, but Opening Night Live had plenty of cool debuts. Additionally, we saw some Xbox announcements, a big live stream on Thursday. Nothing really standing out in a huge way from that, but everybody got to see the new games coming soon, more gameplay demos, more videos. I think it's nice to kind of keep people informed. And again, this is a great midpoint between the E3 Game Award season, or I should say the E3 Summer Game Fest season and the Game Awards season, to kind of have a checkpoint and say, okay, here's what's been delayed, here's what's coming, here's some looks at what's ahead. That was exactly what Gamescom 2022 brought, so it served its purpose, and hey, I'm excited personally. According to Jason Schreier, the rumors are true. Knights of the Old Republic remake has shifted development to a new studio. You may be asking, why are we talking about this on an Xbox podcast? This is a game that's coming exclusively to PlayStation and PC. Well, number one, PC, but number two, Xbox is going to get this game eventually. This is a timed console exclusive. Again, so is Final Fantasy VII Remake, so who knows when we'll see this one. But the fact of the matter is, the game is being pushed out even further, which means we, as Xbox players, have even longer to wait. But Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg reports that the highly anticipated remake of the video game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic has a new developer after a bumpy ride. He reports that the development is being moved from Aspire Media and is now being led by one of Saber Interactive's Eastern European studios, according to a person familiar with the change who asked not to be identified because the details are private. This comes after some Embracer Group reporting calls last week did confirm that a high-profile video game has shifted development to a new studio, and that followed some reports earlier in the year that the remake was just not up to the standard of where people had hoped that it would be, and this one could be years and years away. That's really all we have to go off of right now, and I think right now it's a game of wait and see. Will this new development studio pick up the mantle and run with it? Is this going to be something that's long, drawn out, and painful like Beyond Good and Evil 2? TBD on that one, because that game is still out in the ether somewhere. But while it may not be coming at launch as an Xbox game, Knights of the Old Republic is incredibly significant. It was an original launch game on the Xbox back in 2001. On top of that, you also have it establishing the expectation of what a Star Wars RPG should be. It just hit so many marks on so many levels. And of course, you also saw a recent remaster, a slight touch-up, if you will, on the Nintendo Switch as well. So, KOTOR remains one of the most important and significant and influential Star Wars games of all time, but I would say even one of the biggest games of the past 20 years, 25 years. And I think that being able to remake it and give it a new coat of paint in a very, very big and impressive way is a way to kind of reignite that light in a new generation of players. So take the time that it needs, do it well, no matter who needs to do it, and just deliver on the promise of a KOTOR remake in the way that it should be. Put some respect on its name, in other words. So, as I said, I'll keep you guys in the loop on this one. Quick, small update, but it is indeed true. New developer, new opportunities, hopefully a better direction. Halo the Master Chief Collection has a huge update launching on August the 31st, and we finally got some patch notes that show what is coming in this new update, but also that show kind of what's coming in the future. So first and foremost, new modding tools are coming for the PC community, where you can drop some files in directly. More on that is available in the blog, a little bit above my head, but cool to see them continuing to expand that. What gets me excited, though, is that Halo 2 Anniversary is getting some love. They write in the blog post in this new content update with the addition of not 1 nor 2 nor even 3, but 5 new Spartan armor sets and a slew of weapon skins. You have Breach, which looks like a sparkly kind of finished version of a classic Chief, Trooper, which looks good as well, kind of a Wasp style approach, a Samurai Combat Evolved looking skin called Mega Frame, Panzer Doll, which looks like a giant Gundam, and then Bioroid. Again, looks like a strange alien Covenant blend. You'll further be able to customize your weapons, assault rifle, battle rifle, sniper shotgun, and rocket launcher with the tie-dye Sandstorm, Bluewing, and Black Tiger skins. Again, all new updates, all coming soon to the Master Chief Collection. You also have Halo Custom Edition maps, which is something they've been wanting to inform players in advance. They're looking to make changes and improvements to modding in Halo Combat Evolved, which means that MCC support for playing Custom Edition map files will be removed in the future, as these changes are not compatible with Custom Edition's map data format. So again, just some PSA updates there for the modding community. Here's where things get interesting as we look to the future. The future of Spartan points, they write. Back in our June community update, we talked a bit about the artist formerly known as Season Points, now known as Spartan Points. Due to the vast amount of customization content released in MCC over the years, armor attachments, nameplate skins, armor effects, voices, and more, we shared that we are exploring the addition of purchasable Spartan Points for players who found that particular mountain an intimidating one to climb, or who just wanted to button up the last of their items they need to get. As expected, a lively conversation, it's a kind way of saying it, ensued across the community as well as within the MCC team. In addition to some frustrations at the prospects of purchasing Season Points or Spartan Points, much of the feedback focused on general frustrations with the current SP earn rates in MCC, particularly once players have hit level 100. No decision has been made around the potential for purchasable SP being added as a second vector in the future, but with regards to SP earn rate complaints in the current wall that exists upon hitting level 100, we agree with you, and we are working on designs on how to address this feedback in a future update. When we designed the progression system for MCC, the intent was always that challenges would be the primary means of earning points. The stars didn't align, and we weren't able to ship the challenge system alongside the original PC launch, where we introduced the progression system. We held it back so we could meet our goals of supporting real-time challenge progress, PvE challenges, and general flexibility. As a stopgap, we loaded 100 points, the total number needed to complete the Noble Season track, into the first 100 progression levels. What we've seen since is a lot of understandable confusion about why the gravy train stops after Tor 4 level 10. After all, what good is continued XP earning if it doesn't feed back into Spartan points? We've evaluated this feedback for a while, but there was a key constraint which quickly shut things down each time we considered acting on it. Out of the box, progression level rewards are not retroactive. In other words, if we added a Spartan point reward to every level, you would not retroactively receive points for any of the levels you'd already reached. This would punish our most engaged players, as they would miss out on a lot of SP opportunities from levels they'd already reached. We are working on a solution to this constraint and are happy to announce that in the future content update, players will earn a Spartan point from every level from Tour 1 through Tour 11 for 329 points total, and players will retroactively receive points from levels they've already reached. For example, I am currently Tour 7 level 21, so I will instantly receive 101 Spartan points for the 101 levels beyond Tour 4 level 10 that I've reached the first time I sign into MCC after this update. In addition of SP rewards for all level ups, has the added benefit of making XP-only challenges more worthwhile to complete. Speaking of challenges, we are looking to make continued adjustments to ensure they feel even more rewarding and further align with achievable positive play behaviors. So, to summarize, more SP points, retroactive SP points, more cosmetics for you, the player. And as somebody who has hundreds of hours into the Master Chief Collection, this is something that has been a long time coming because I only play the Master Chief Collection now just to scratch the itch. If there was more of a carrot on the end of the stick that enticed me to earn more through various matches and modes, that's when I would dive back in and start grinding again. But I've gotten to such a level that I don't really have that incentive to go back and continue playing because I only earn a couple of points here and there via challenges. Nothing really tickles my fancy when it comes to just leveling anymore. So getting back to the basics sounds like a fantastic option there. And I will also say, for the campaign editions, there are some new skulls that are on the way as well, so that's going to be a welcome addition, including some that are coming to Halo 2. Tons and tons of various additions here. Again, I highly encourage you to read the entire MCC update. But for me, it's great to see them continuing to flesh it out even after the seasons are starting to wind down. But the key takeaways for me are 5 new armor additions for Halo 2 Anniversary, and additionally, we also have season points that are going to be touched up in the future with retroactive distribution as well. Great quality of life improvements there, and you had better believe I'm going to be logging in to get those new cosmetics. I'm a sucker for a good armor system. That rounds out this week's episode of Xhibition, an Xbox podcast. If you enjoy the show, you like what you see or what you hear, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, add the show to your podcast feed of choice, and get it delivered right to you each and every Sunday at normally 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This week was a little bit late. I was out of town for a wedding, so I apologize to anyone who may have been waiting with bated breath for that one, but nonetheless, better late than never. You guys have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon, and keep on playing.